Hey guys, welcome back to another Chinese language learning video. It has been a while since the last Chinese study video where I took you through a few tips and helpful suggestions for learning Chinese as a very beginner. So in today's video, we're going to focus on learning HSK level 1. HSK levels are just used to test your Chinese language proficiency as a non-native speaker. There were about 6 levels of HSK before 2021. Since 2021, there are now about 9 HSK levels. HSK level 1 consists of about 150 words that you need to know. In this video, there are a couple of resources that I will show you which will hopefully help you out, and me too, as we study for all of those words. I've also got a few Chinese breakfast recipes planned for this video, so let's get to work. 让我们学中文。For specifically studying HSK, I have 2 books that I want to show you. One of them is the Cracking Chinese Characters book. It actually has HSK 1, 2, 3, and 4 in it. So over 1,000 of the most frequently used Chinese characters are in this book. It basically has the characters in alphabetical order and teaches you kind of how to crack them in a way. So it breaks them down by the radicals and the definition and gives a few example words to help you practice that. But since they are in alphabetical order, they're not in the order of the HSK levels, so you kind of have to go through it and pick out HSK 1, for example. So that's this one. The second book is basically just the companion to the one I just showed you. It also has all of the Chinese characters from the first book in alphabetical order. The main difference is that this one just has the character, what it means, the pinyin for pronunciation, and then a box so you can either practice the character or make notes on how to remember the character specifically. So that's these 2 books. Honestly, they are helpful if you like a physical book with all of the characters already in it. Otherwise, you can find an entire list of the HSK level 1 words on the HSK Academy's website and learn them from there. When you go to their website, you have the HSK levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see, yeah, so it just goes through 6. You have some other survival kits, preparation books. But when we click HSK 1, as you can see, it has the vocabulary list for the HSK 1 words. You can go to this word list right here and see every single word that will be on HSK 1 and that you need to know for it. When you click on one of the characters, it gives you the meaning and pronunciation, the English definition, and some sentence examples, which are really helpful. You can also go down here and click the HSK 1 again to come back to this kind of home base. You can look at sentences and practice reading or speaking these. It gives you the pinyin and also what it means when you hover over it. So that is super helpful for practicing. You also have practice tests that you can do, an exam audio file, practice quizzes, and all kinds of stuff. So I would definitely recommend the HSK Academy website for additional practice and help specifically for this level. So figure out what works best for you and go for it and do that. I will talk about a couple of apps later in this video as well, but for now, I think I will take you through a little bit of the different aspects that you need to work on. These 4 aspects are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So it is important to spend time on each of these things every day if possible. So let's go start with a little bit of writing practice. Another tip that could be very helpful for learning how to write Chinese characters is learning how to write radicals first. Radicals are basically just what every Chinese character is made of. You can kind of think of it as like a piece of the character puzzle. Learning those first, though, will kind of give you a basis on how to write the rest of the characters. Once you have those down, it will be a little bit easier to continue learning more and more characters as you go. So I'm going to start on another study session working on that, and then I'll probably work on a little bit of listening. To work on listening, there are a couple of things you can do. There are audio files that you can find online specifically for HSK. You can also listen to Chinese TV shows, especially kids shows is really helpful because it gives such a visual, and the vocabulary and grammar that they use are usually pretty simple. You can also listen to music, all kinds of different things. So that's what I usually do for listening practice. As far as reading goes, you can find HSK level 1 specific books or other resources, again, online. You can order them off Amazon. I like to try and read as much as I can in some children's books that I have here at the house. And then as far as speaking goes, just as you read, if you recognize any character, speak it out loud, and keep in mind that tones are important. So use the pinyin along with the character to learn, speak the words. I would recommend speaking as much as you possibly can to get used to the way the characters sound and how they sound when put together in phrases. That's also very important. And then finally, another thing I will say is to immerse yourself in different cultural experiences. Even if you're not in the country, you can still find ways to supplement your language learning. Try new foods, cook, go to gardens, listen to music, again, watch movies, TV shows, and even learn how to play games that are popular in the country that you are learning a language from, such as Chinese chess, which is what I'm currently trying to learn. Another tip I want to mention real quick before I go is that going places, whether it be outdoors or to the grocery store or to a friend's house or anything, can be an opportunity to practice Chinese. So wherever you're going, if you have vocabulary that you're working on, go ahead and identify stuff in that language, or even have conversations with a friend who speaks that language. Anything will help. It especially helps me because I am an active learner. I like to move, can really absorb information that way the best. So that's why going on a walk or being outside really helps solidify Chinese vocabulary or phrases or anything like that. So just use any opportunity as a way to practice. One thing that was beneficial to do in the past is to make a daily journal of all of the different words, sentences, characters that I learned each day, and kind of work with it, like I said, creating sentences of what you did that day as you're doing a journal to help you make connections in your brain. So that's what I did for a few days last year, but that's just another way to help you remember things as you're learning them, to make connections to real life. Another thing is using something like a course. I like to use Chinese to look up really common phrases and practice studying those. That way you can recognize the characters, begin to learn them, and also practice pronunciation without looking at pinyin. So for example, you could practice reading like lesson 18, 我非常喜欢 or 我吃了很多 我学中文学了2个年. So when speaking, tones is very important, which is something that I kind of have trouble with a little bit. So for that first sentence under lesson 20, you would read it as 我学中文学了2个年. So that would be slow, and then you can practice doing it faster. But I would suggest practicing slowly first to make sure you get the tones correct. Alright, now that we have gotten some studying done, I think it is time to get into those Chinese breakfast recipes, so let's get cooking. Alright, that is all for today's video. If you watched until the end, thank you so very much. I hope you have a wonderful week. Best of luck to all of your Chinese language studies. Make sure to like and subscribe if you wish, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.